Peace be with you, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Trevor. Very grateful to have you here, and it's great to be back. I'm coming from a little bit of a hiatus. Haven't posted in a few days. Feeling a little bit under the weather past week, and my kids also have not been wanting to find any time for me to sneak away for a video, but wife's here today until I go into work. I'm going to be rushed a little bit, so I don't know how much editing I'm throwing in today. Weekly rotation video, though. I'm going to share with you what I wore throughout the week. This past week, just about the third week of July here. I believe today is the 23rd, if I'm not mistaken, and for last week on Monday, Tuesday still had really high temperatures up into the 90s. Started off the week with Givenchy Gentleman Cologne, sadly discontinued. I think the best of the line. It's hard to say that just because the rest of the line is so different from this fragrance. I would hope that they'd maybe rebottle this in a different line, just because the whole Givenchy Gentleman line is known to be a little bit of a take on the Dior Homme Iris scent profile, that really nice, almost makeup bag, sweet, chocolatey sort of scent profile. This, however, maintains that iris, adds a really unique, nice, powdery touch underneath of some very sharp, rindy type citruses. One of my favorite fragrances, period. This is one that I rocked at my honeymoon in Arizona to Sedona in the Grand Canyon, so I've got a lot of scent memories tied to this one. Still, you can find this around the $70 to $100 mark, which I think is well worth that price. Currently, even though it's been discontinued, I would definitely recommend trying to score this before it dries up entirely. One of the best summer fragrances ever made, in my opinion. Love the bottle, love the scent profile, and one of my favorite wearing experiences for the week last week. So that was Monday, Givenchy Gentleman Cologne. So Monday night, we had a tornado come through the area, did quite a bit of damage actually. Nothing in my neighborhood per se, but a lot of the surrounding areas got hit pretty hard, a lot of trees down. So Tuesday morning, it was very humid. A lot of that storm front weather kind of came in, added a lot of moisture to the already hot air. That collision of the hot and cold created this tornado. And this is one of my favorite humid weather fragrances. Another sadly discontinued one, but this is Sean John 3 AM. Really unique cardamom, leather, fig, a little bit of a gin and tonic vibe. All those notes coming together to create something that almost on paper looks a little bit autumnal. You know, you get the cardamom and the leather going on in here, but that gin and tonic and the fig really brighten it up, make it a very apt, high heat, high humidity summer fragrance. Really sexy kind of scent profile, very synthetic. So when I first got this, it gave me a headache, so I didn't really care for it all that much. But that reaction subsided, and it has since been one of my most complimented fragrances, period. Really sad that this one has also been discontinued. This used to be one of the best under $20 fragrances on the market. Hard to come by this for less than $100 now. I wouldn't pay more than $50 for it, but if you see it anywhere for that price, definitely scoop this one up. Keep an eye out at your rack stores, which is where that one usually was found. Okay, so Wednesday and moving on through the rest of the week from there, the weather really cooled down. That storm brought the temperatures back into the 70-degree mark, and we haven't really left that since. I think we'll maybe have a high of 80 today. But it was just a great, perfect room temperature style atmosphere going on outside. And this next fragrance, although I think is apt for the high heat, I think it's also really great for sort of climate controlled environments. It's got a very fresh, clean quality to it. Mint is the star player here, and then some rather kind of sharp musks going on is really what I get out of this one. This is Torino 21 from Xerjoff. So to me, this does get a little bit toothpastey. The mint is a bit overbearing at times, slightly powdery, but it also maintains a nice herbal facet, so it feels like you maybe have a toothpaste that's made out of actual mint. There's this very nice kind of dry herbal quality to it, very natural smelling, so quite an enjoyable wear for me, as I enjoy green fragrances. I enjoy natural scent profiles. I enjoy just fresh and clean style scent profiles as well. This one I just don't think is everyone's cup of tea. I can see it not really going over well with everybody just because it does have a little bit of that toothpaste sensation. Very similar in some sense to Carven Low Intense, if you're familiar with that fragrance. I think this one is overhyped. I don't know why it's lauded as sort of like one of the best summer fragrances, just because I think it markets to a specific demographic, with mint being just such a prominent, almost divisive note profile. But this I'm really glad to have in the collection. It is a little bit redundant for me. I feel like it goes into the same direction as something like État Libre des Oranges, You or Someone Like You, and even H24 Herbe Vives by Hermes. If I had to pick one of those three, I would probably stick with the Hermes. But this is another one that I'm looking forward to having around in the collection and trying out some of the others from the Torino line. This is the only one I've gotten so far, but interested in the rest now. And then moving into Thursday, again, kind of climate-controlled style weather, so this is another sort of office-y style summer fragrance that I've really come to enjoy as one of my favorite niches for the summertime. This was Acqua di Parma Colonia Essenza. So this keeps to the original Colonia scent profile, which is this kind of almost barbershop-y, powdery orange and lemon combination. Very sweet, but also the original is very sharp with some certain green facets that makes it great for the high heat. This one dials it back a little bit with a more forward oak mossy style feel, gives it a little bit of this more grown-up lean into the barbershop genre rather than the summer citrus scent profile. This one's a lot more, this made my top 10 rainy day for the summer fragrances. It's really apt for that kind of a little bit more dialed back temperature, not quite. It will perform in the high heat, but it's really more of like a gentlemanly office dressed up formal style fragrance in my opinion. There's some rose in here as well that amps up the classy quality in here, so between that rose, oak moss, and the original scent profile, this has a little bit more of a mature yet maintaining a modern frame. I would say that this is a very modern, gentlemanly style fragrance. So if you're into those more old school oak mossy green genre style fragrances, I think this is an absolute must try just because it appeals to modern audiences quite well, and you can get these for right around like the $75 mark on the discounters. So Acqua di Parma Colonia Essenza, one of my favorite niches for the summertime for Thursday. Friday is when I like to wear niche fragrances. This is, I believe, the only fragrance that I did get a compliment on this week, and weather, again, like I said, was mostly room temperature. I think Friday was the hottest day though. It got up into like the mid 80s, and rocked this one right here, Creed Aventus Cologne. Not the most well-performing fragrance. I usually got about like 5 hours with this one before I had to reapply it, but it is extremely high quality coming from Creed. You know, their fresh ingredients are some of the best, and one of the reasons why I keep coming back to the house despite a lot of veterans in the community saying that the quality has gone down over time. I still think that they had a little bit of wiggle room to fall because they were so exceptional beforehand, and I still think that's the case now. I have a metal cap version of this one. I wish I would have got the one that the cap was this color, gray plastic, but nonetheless, this is a really beautiful take on the Aventus DNA. You still get that pineapple style accord, but it's a little bit more tart bergamot-y, almost in some sense like the sort of citrusy feel that you would get from Mont Blanc Explorer, as opposed to the original Aventus. And then this also comes in with a little bit of that creamy, watery style scent profile that you get from Chanel Allure Homme Sport or Versace Pour Homme, that sort of watery lemon-orange combination in addition to the pineapple scent profile. Takes out a lot of the more smoky aspects from the original Aventus, makes it a lot more fresh, clean, a little bit more modern in some degree. And again, like I said, the only one that I got a compliment on this week, so that was Friday's Creed Aventus Cologne. Saturday I wore two fragrances, one during the daytime, one during the evening. I had a couple of events going on that day. Saturday morning I was meeting up with a friend of mine that I met in California when I was doing a month-long intensive study, kind of learning the religion of Islam. I studied at the feet of a few scholars at Zaytuna College, and this is where I met my friend, and meet up with him every so often. He wanted to meet my new son. He's the godfather of my children, and so he's met my daughter before, but he wanted to come and check out my newly born son, and so we met up at a local park, walked around in the forest a little bit, went for a nice foresty style freshie. This is Chanel Paris Edimbourg, really one of my favorite finds of 2024, and I think moved into my top 10 of all time. I absolutely love this fragrance. It does a good job of mixing old world and new world. There's a nice woody green facet coming in here from a really well done cypress. It gives me that sort of outdoorsy feel that I was able to harmonize with the forested park we were walking around in, but also a classy, powdery, gentlemanly style feel from some soft musks and a lavender. Juniper berry also presents this very cold and cooling quality to the fragrance that makes it apt for the summertime, in addition to some nice sparkly citruses. I think this is one of the best transitional fragrances that I've ever smelled from going into the spring to summer period. But this is what I rocked during the daytime on Saturday, carried me out all the way into the evening, at which point my wife's family was in town for a funeral, and we're meeting up with them post funeral to go to a hotel where they were just having like a congressional sort of event together, meeting up, meet and greet, catching up with the family. I didn't make it to the actual funeral, just because it was, my wife was working and it was like her side of the family. But we caught up with them later, and this is what I rocked during the evening. The original L'Homme from YSL. Nice, sort of clean, yet sweet ginger fragrance. It's just something that I think is great for any type of more formal, a semi-formal event in the warm weather. This is one of my top go-to sort of picnic or day date sort of events, but the warmth in here for the summertime, in addition to the ginger, I thought was apt for a summer evening. Really awesome stuff. Poor performance, but this is a classic for a reason, and definitely one of those must-try fragrances, I think, just to kind of get a base level understanding of the market. This and the La Nuit de L'Homme, I think, are just something that one should always get their nose on. And as far as recommending bigger bottles, I think this is one of the very few fragrances that I would say go ahead and try and hunt down a 200 ml in terms of just getting a better value. Usually the 200 mLs of this are right around like the $120 mark, which is usually asking price for a lot of other designers for the 100 mLs at this point in the where we're at with cost and everything. And so I think instead of paying like, 70 or 80 for this 100 ml, getting a 110 to 120, 200 ml of this bottle would be worth checking out. That's just like a side note. Like if I ever go to refill that bottle, if I run out, I'm gonna shoot for the 200 ml. And then finally for Sunday, it was a little bit of a casual day. Didn't really have much going on. I did meet up with my wife at the restaurant. The kids were getting a little bit mommy kind of wanting to know where she was. It was a long day for her, and so we went and visited her at the restaurant and dined in there. I also, for the first time in a very long time, tried to find some time to do a little bit of exercise around the house. Was doing some push-ups and sit-ups and trying to kind of get back into shape. I haven't really been able to get to the gym since my daughter was born, so it's been a few years. So I'm just trying to like pencil in where I can to get back into the swing of things, just because I can feel my body getting a little bit sore from inactivity, I want to say. So I reached for something a little bit sporty, but also mass appealing and versatile, and I went with this one right here, Parfum de Marly Sedley. So very much a designer fragrance with an overpriced price tag. I do appreciate the mass appeal of this fragrance and the quality. It's not really like exceptional for the price you're paying, but it does beat out the clones of this. I would say the lavender in here is a little bit better than the Lattafas that are cloning this, although in terms of just being a business recommendation or something in terms of pricing, I think the Lattafa is way more the way to go, especially because the performance and projection on that one is a lot better than this. I was able to get this 4.2 ounce bottle back in the day for under $150 from Aura Fragrance. Hard to come by these for anything less than $200 now. I think that's definitely a bit of a ripoff in my estimations. Although it really just depends on where you're at in your fragrance journey. I feel like if you're new to the game, this is going to smell a whole lot better to you and honestly get you more compliments than some of the more niche style quality fragrances that are out there on the market right now. So if you're like a novice, or if you're just somebody that wants to have like 3 fragrances, I think this is a great one to check out, even though I still recommend just getting the Lattafa for 20 bucks. But I particularly enjoy this scent profile. I like the simplicity of it, the easy-go quality, and the sporty nuances. Like I said, I was trying to do a little bit of working out, and it performs great in the high heat for me. So maybe sample this one, buy the Lattafa and sample that and see if you like the scent profile, and then pick up a sample of this and see if it's worth paying the extra for just the lavender in here. But really beautiful, nice kind of lemon lime Sprite mint combo with a really good lavender that leans a little bit barbershoppy is what you get with this one. One of my favorites for the summertime altogether, but definitely not worth the price at this point. So Parfum de Marly Sedley for Sunday, ending off the week for me. And that was my week in fragrance, hoping to have a little bit more time to dedicate to the hobby here coming up, but with work and kids, it's just been I've been prioritizing trying to pencil in a nap more so than doing content at the time being, but hopefully I've gotten the rest that I needed over the weekend, and I'll be looking forward to spending some more time with you guys here throughout the course of the remainder of my interest in the hobby. And as always, I appreciate you sticking with me to the end of the video. I'll see you in the next one. Comment your rotation in the section down below. I'll see you. Take care.